Come on in, pre-Ks. Another great day here at Piper School online. Find a spot you like a lot. 1, 2, 3. Find a spot you like a lot. Listen to me. It's my turn. Find a spot you like a lot. 3, 2, 1. Find a spot you like a lot. We'll have some fun. Even though we can't be together, I get to talk to you every day, and that makes me happy. And I hope maybe you can be doing some things and sending me information too. I'm going to tell you about some friends of mine who have been sending me pictures and videos and writing some little notes to Kathy so I can hear from you too with online learning. Yesterday was Wednesday. Yesterday was Wednesday, but that's not today. Oh no, the sun goes down. Another rainy day yesterday, but a nice day today. A little bit chilly out there. Today's the day that comes after Wednesday. If you said Thursday, you're correct. Thursday. Thursday. Thursday's towards the end of the week. Yes, it's Thursday. Thursday. Thursday's towards the end of the week. We're getting to the end. Thursday and Friday are the end of the week. And let's find out what's going on. I think we get to put another rainy day yesterday. Just when I thought it was not going to rain, it started to drizzle a little bit. So we're having lots and lots of rainy days. We just might beat that record of 15 rainy days. We just might beat that record of 15 rainy days in the month of April. Those April showers, they come your way. They bring the flowers that bloom in May. So don't cry in April, April, because it's raining. That's what's going to make everything grow and turn green and give us lots of grass to play on. So we do need some of that rain. Let's find out what number comes after 22. Yesterday was 22. The new families after the teens are so easy because after the number 2 comes 3. 2 plus 1 more is 3. So instead of the 22nd day, today is the day that comes after 22. It is 23. Listen to me. When there's a 2 in the front seat and a 3 in the back seat. 2, 3, 2, 3, 23. A 2 in the front seat and a 3 in the back seat. 20, 20, 23. Today is Thursday, the 23rd day. And let's find out what family we're talking about today. The 3-letter families. Mix them up, mix them up, mix them up, mix them up, mix them up. We're gonna mix them high, mix them low, mix them behind my back. Mix them up. We're gonna mix them up. All right, we're talking about 3-letter families now. These 3-letter families. This one has 2 vowels, so we know that the vowel at the end is silent. Shh, it doesn't say anything. Shh, it's quiet. But it gives its vowel superpower to the vowel in the front, so this vowel says its name. Instead of a short A like apple, it says its name, 8. This is the ATE family. The ATE family. Let's make some rhymes for the ATE family. Put a G there and you get gate. Put an L there, you get late. Put a PL consonant blend there, you get plate. Put a CR consonant blend, crate. D for date, SK consonant blend for skate. In the ATE family, there's gate, late, crate, plate, skate, and date in that ATE family. Stand up straight and tall, one and all, and put your right hand on your heart. Let's say that pledge for the country we live in. I pledge allegiance. We'll stay together. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which this flag stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You have a good memory. Well, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about me speaking with you every day, but not hearing from you. So, some of my pre-Ks have been doing some things so Kathy knows what you're doing at your house. I love to hear from you. Mom and Dad have sent lots of pictures, and we're going to be showing those pictures online next week. All the lovely artwork you have been doing. Some moms and dads have been sending me little videos of you sitting in front of your electronic device and working hard. And some moms and dads have been writing me little notes about how hard my pre-Ks are working. And one little boy, Lucas, sent me a video of him telling me his address and his telephone number. I'm so proud of him. Most of you knew your address before you left Pied Piper School because that was easy breezy. You had a house number. Some of you were lucky. Who was that one that just had one number for their house? Some had two. Some had three. Some were like Kathy, had 4 numbers for their house number. They had to remember 4 numbers in a row. And then it was your street. That was pretty easy to remember the name of the street you live on. And then it was either called a street or a road or a court or a boulevard. We had different endings, but your house number, the street, and what it was called, and then your town. Many of you live in Yorktown Heights. Some were Shrub Oak, some were Mohegan, Mahopac, the town. And then we all lived in New York, so that was easy breezy. Nobody lives in Connecticut or New Jersey. And then the zippy zip code. We said you really don't need that unless you're mailing something. So it was very important you knew your address so you could always get back home. But the telephone number, I warned you right before we had to stop coming to school how hard it was. How hard it was. So I'll be very proud of you if you can remember either your mom's or your dad's. You don't have to remember them both. Pick mom or dad because they're so difficult. Now, some of you are lucky because you have the area code 914. These 3 numbers at the beginning of your telephone number tell you that you don't have to worry about being in a different area code. If you're the same area code as the person you're calling, you don't have to dial 914 or the magical 1 that bumps you to a different area code. You'll just have to remember the first 3 numbers of your phone number and then the last 4 numbers of your phone number. So if you have a 914 area code, you don't have to dial that if you're calling someone else in the same area, in the same town. Then you just have to remember 3 first numbers and 4 at the end. 4 plus 3 is, take the big number, 4, 5, 6, 7. You just have to remember 7 numbers. That makes your life easier. But if you have a different area code, and so many families do now, just crazy numbers for your area code, you have to dial the number 1 first to bump to a new area. So you have to dial 1 plus your 3 numbers. 3 plus 1 more is 4. And 7 plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's a lot of numbers to remember. So check out your mom's cell and your dad's cell number so you don't have to remember more numbers. And then look for a pattern. Sometimes there's 2 2s in your number or 2 3s, and that will help as well. All right, let's get busy. We're talking about the things that we need to watch out for, waste. We don't want to waste things that we need. So we've been talking about how to keep the earth safe and healthy and to conserve, not waste, our natural resources. Do you remember what the natural resources were? Well, one of them we drink, we wash with it, we cook with it, begins with the letter W. Did you say water? Then you are correct. Water is one of our natural resources. Another one we breathe in and out every day. Did you say air? You got it right. And the last one is what we grow things in, what gives us our food, and that is the earth, the land. Those are our 3 natural resources, and we said it looked like the earth had so many natural resources, but there's so many people using them, we still have to conserve. And conserve means not to waste. And we said with water, turn off that shower. Don't take a 20-minute shower, even though it feels great. Put the bathtub only half up. It doesn't have to be up to your neck. Don't wash your car all the time and water your yard. Don't pollute the water that we do have. Those are all good ways to conserve. And when I was a little girl, my dad, who was a water commissioner here in Westchester, he conserved water all the time. We could never waste water. And he had barrels outside my house, big, huge barrels. They were called rain barrels. We had one under each of our gutters where the water comes off your roof. We had one by the end of my house, and we had one by the middle of my backyard, big, huge barrels. In the beginning, I thought they were kind of ugly sitting around my yard. And then when I found out that my dad wanted us to use those barrels full of water to water the garden, to water the plants, and even wash our hair, it became hard work. But by using the water in those barrels, we were not wasting water, especially on a real rainy day when the ground didn't need all that water. So water barrels around your house is a good way to conserve water. It's great to keep that water, find a container, and then use it to water your plants and flowers. That's a good way to conserve the water. Now, to help the land, we're going to be talking next week about how to make compost. Compost is putting things back into the earth like food to feed the earth. And next to my kitchen sink, I have a compost container. It's got a lid on it because it doesn't smell too good. It's a pretty small one. When I had lots of children living with me at my house, we had a big one and one outside as well. But now it's pretty small. It's me and my grandchildren will put things in it when they eat at my house, and my children when they're visiting. But it's a small compost container. And this helps the earth because I stick all the old food in it. The banana peels, when I peel the apple, the core of the apple, leftover bread, and it doesn't look really good, so I don't look in it because it looks yucky. And I never smell it because it smells yucky. But with a lid on it, it stays right there by my sink, and I put all my old food in it. Coffee grinds and even tea bags and things, because those can all go into the earth to make food for the ground. And then outside I have a big compost pile, and every week I throw it out there in the compost pile, and you know what? At the end of the year, it turns into dirt. True story. And I keep turning it over with my shovel and mixing it in, and it turns into nice fresh dirt. And that's what I use to plant my garden. That's what I use to put around the new flowers I want to put by my mailbox and by my porch. My compost gives back to the earth. Pretty cool, huh? And to save the air, I make sure I don't just drive around everywhere. I make sure if I'm going to the grocery store, I also hit Lowe's so I can get a new light bulb. And I also go to Barnes and Noble when they're open and get some books for the pre-Ks. And I also love Michael's or AC Moore to get stickers. So I make sure that I don't just drive around and take only one trip. I try to make sure that my car is as full as it can be. If I'm going in the same place with Mel and her kids, I go in their car. If I'm going with Minnie, with her children, I jump in her car. Or Molly or Ellie, and sometimes I even ride in Max's big black truck. Although I think he says it's green. Looks black to me. Oh, no, it's red. I ride with him. Because if we're going to the same place, why should we put more pollution out in the air? So I want you to be thinking of ways that you can conserve water and give back to the soil and to the air. And next week, we're going to be doing the best thing of all for the air. We're going to be planting. We're going to plant flowers here at Pied Piper. We might even plant some vegetables too. And that is the best thing you can do, because next week we're going to find out how these flowers, these trees, these vegetable plants can clean up the air. Do you believe it? They're like the cleaning system for dirty, polluted air. We're going to find out how the flowers and things that are growing take in dirty, yucky air and wash it like a washing machine and give us pure air. The water, the land, and the air, taking care next week at Pied Piper School. Today's story is the magic school bus plants seeds. Oh, I love the Magic School Bus and Ms. Frizz. And today we're reading about how the Magic School Bus plants seeds. Can you see the book? All right. No glare on it. I was told I had some sun glare, light glare on it last week. Make sure that we can see it. Oh, this book belonged to my daughter Molly. That's an old one. Here we go. Ms. Frizz. When Ms. Frizz does something, she goes all the way. She started by letting us plant a whole garden behind the school. Hey, Liz, you found a ladybug. A photographer was coming to take pictures of our garden, so we all wanted our garden to look its best. To think that these beautiful tomato plants started from this tiny little seed, Carlos said. Add some soil, some sunshine, and water, and tender loving care, and you've got this great big garden. How neat is that? And once the photographer takes our picture, we'll be famous, Carlos said. We could be on the cover of Plant It. That's a magazine. Would you like me to autograph your seed packet for you, Dorothy Ann? Oh, I'll think about it, said Dorothy Ann. Phoebe was not as excited as Carlos. I wish I had that beautiful plant I raised at my old school before I moved. Tim put the finishing touches on a drawing. Phoebe smiled. Hey, that's it. Thank you. Still, I wish I had the real thing for our picture this afternoon. Ms. Frizz spotted the drawing. Your plant looks lovely, Phoebe, she said. Not to worry. It's a simple matter to stop by your old school on a little field trip. Uh-oh, I was afraid of that. We all piled into the old school bus. Carlos was worried that we might not get back in time for the photographer. This could take us all day. Couldn't we fly or something, Ms. Frizz? Excellent idea, Carlos, said Ms. Frizz. Suddenly the whole bus began to spin. It rose in the air as if it had wings. It did have wings. We were riding in a lady bus. And we flew over the buildings and the trees. Phoebe began to look nervous. What if Mr. Seedplot sees us, she asked. We never turned into ladybugs when he was my teacher. Just then we all saw the school below. Phoebe stared. There it is. There's my plant, she guessed. The bus swooped in low through the school's garden. It looked like a jungle. Here's the perfect landing pedal, said Ms. Frizz. The bus landed with a bounce and crawled along the petal of a huge, big flower. We crawled one step too far. Suddenly, our ladybug bus slid into something wet and slippery. We're stuck in some gooey goop, Ralph yelled. It's called Nectar, Dorothy Ann said. Follow me, class, said Ms. Frizz. She opened the doors and slipped out into the lake of nectar. We didn't know it then, but Mr. Seedplot could have reached out and picked us. Phoebe's plants certainly have been growing well, he said to himself. She worked hard on them. I really should take one to her new school for her. Mr. Seedplot heard a buzz and looked up. Ah, bees. I won't disturb their work right now, he said, turning to a patch of tomato plants. We also saw the bees coming, and they were headed right into our flower. Yipes! Air raid, shouted Arnold. Glory be, said the Frizz happily. As soon as these bees drink enough nectar, then we can crawl out of here. All aboard the lady bus, please. Next stop, the Anthr. Dorothy Ann is amazing. Even upside down, she could remember what she had read that morning. The anther is the part of the flower that makes pollen, she said. There we were at the top of the anther with bees buzzing all around us. It was then that Phoebe caught sight of her old teacher. It's Mr. Seedplot, she yelled. He'll see us. Do something fast. Ms. Frizz stayed calm. No problem, she said cheerfully. We'll get out of here the same way the pollen does. Ms. Frizz pressed a yellow button and we shrank again. Now we were as small as a grain of pollen. Phew, said Phoebe. That was close. Carlos was not so happy. We'll never get back to school in time for the photographer, he grumbled. Be of good cheer. We're on our way, said Ms. Frizz. Hang on, she called as the leg of a passing bee swept us up and away. Off we flew, stuck to the leg of a bee. It was a short ride. At the very next plant, the bee bumped a flower and brushed us off. along with lots of other pollen. "Here we are," Ms. Frizz announced. "Where?" Phoebe asked. Tim showed her his picture. "I think we're in the center part, the stigma," Tim said. The bee had dropped a lot of pollen here. With a big sneeze, Arnold bumped into a grain of pollen, knocked it over, and fell back into some kind of tunnel underneath. Phoebe looked down the tube. "Mr. Seedpot will never spot us here," she said, and she hopped into the tube and slid down fast. Ms. Frizz beamed. "That's the spirit. Take chances, make mistakes, check out the pollen tube. Yahoo!" she yelled as she jumped down the tube also. We all slid to the bottom of the pollen tube. "Now, where are we?" asked Carlos. "Couldn't we just grab one of Phoebe's plants and go back to school?" "I don't think we need the whole plant," Keisha said. "Look at this." She pointed at something that looked like a big rock. "It's a seed." "I get it," Dorothy Ann said. "When pollen from one flower lands on the stigma of another flower, it grows a pollen tube, finds one of the egg cells, and together they make a seed." Carlos still wasn't happy. "No seed can grow into a plant by 3 o'clock today," he said. "Not without some help," said Ms. Frizz. She reached into the bus and pressed a button, and suddenly things went wild. The seeds were growing bigger and sprouting hair. "We'll need to hurry things along a bit," said Ms. Frizz. "Everyone on the bus, please." We all rushed back to the bus. The door slammed shut, and we drove up and onto the biggest seeds. As the seeds around us grew bigger, the flower burst open. We felt the sunshine in and the breeze blowing through the windows of the bus. Suddenly our seed flew into the air with us on board. Away we flew on the back of a seed carried along by gusts of wind. Carlos still worried. "Can't we get there any faster?" he asked. "Well," Ms. Frizz said, "this is pretty fast for a seed, but there are seeds that travel by attaching themselves to a dog or a bird or people," she said, eyeing a man on a bicycle. "No," croaked Phoebe, "that's Mr. Seedplot." But she was too late. Our seed had landed in Mr. Seedplot's hair. "Oh, how embarrassing," Phoebe groaned. We were almost home, still stuck in Mr. Seedplot's hair, and we hadn't even been introduced, so we all shouted, "Hello, Mr. Seedplot," except for Phoebe, who was too embarrassed to talk. But when Mr. Seedplot swung his head to see who was calling, we flew off. "Last stop," Ms. Frizz announced. She pushed a button. Poof! The bus got big again. She pushed another button. Poof! The seed, which had landed in our garden, grew into a tall plant with a beautiful flower. "Oh, there you are," Mr. Seedplot said as he spotted us. "I brought one of Phoebe's plants, but I see she already has one." "Nice to see you again, Ms. Frizz." Phoebe gasped. "You mean you've met Ms. Frizz before?" she said. Mr. Seedplot smiled. "Yes, she's a very special person." And they made it to the cover of Plant It, The Magic of Gardening. Great story about planting seeds.